Namma Metro has become a major transportation mode in Bengaluru, carrying over 8 lakh passengers every day. Within the next 2 years, the network is expected to grow from 75 kilometers to 175 kilometers, a major step towards becoming the city's lifeline. However, even 175 kilometers is not enough for a mega city like Bengaluru, and the next phases of expansion must be planned carefully. In this video, we look at some of the most critical issues, from metro lines being extended to the suburbs to land disputes, train shortages, and administrative delays. Whether it's the yellow line, pink line, blue line, or the proposed Sarjapur, Hebbal, and ORR lines, many key corridors are facing unexpected challenges. Let's explore what's really going wrong with Namma Metro. BMRCL is planning major metro extensions, but many of them reach into the outskirts. As a result, the core city areas where congestion is highest and the demand for a metro is the most remain underserved. Let us have a detailed look at this. Presently, Namma Metro has 2 lines covering 76 kilometers. 3 more lines which are under construction will add around 100 kilometers to the metro network when opened by 2027. All these lines are mostly within city limits apart from the airport line, which goes beyond city limits to connect to the airport, and a little part of the yellow line. As a part of Namma Metro's Phase 3 and Phase 3A, the orange line, the Magadhi Road line, and the Sarjapura to Hebbal line are proposed. Even these lines are within city limits. However, recently the government has been pushing for the metro to be extended to Bengaluru suburbs. It has been proposed to extend the metro to Bidadi, Harohalli, Attibele, Hoskote, Devanahalli, Tumkur, Thaverekere, and to Jigani, Anekal, and Varthur via a new line. Almost all these lines will take the metro well beyond city limits, and though it appears beneficial, extending the metro rather than suburban rail to far off suburbs raises important questions. Let's explore why. Metros are not a good option for long distance commutes, and there are many reasons for this. The first reason is cost. Metro rails are expensive to construct, and their construction costs range from 300 crore rupees to 500 crore rupees per kilometer. Secondly, metro rail will be a slower option for long distance commutes. For example, let's say that a person has to travel from Tumkur to Harohalli. The distance between the two places will be 117 kilometers by metro. Normally, a metro train runs at an average speed of 35 kilometers per hour. At this speed, the person will take 3 hours and 20 minutes to travel from one end to the other. This, along with overcrowding, frequent stops, and limited seating, makes metro journeys impractical over long distances. We understood the reasons why the metro is not a good option for long distance commutes. This is exactly where the suburban rail can step in. It's designed for longer distances and can address all these limitations of the metro. Suburban rail is cheaper than the metro and costs only 60 crore rupees to 100 crore rupees per kilometer. Secondly, it is a faster option for long distance commutes. Thirdly, its coaches can be increased to 9 coaches or 12 coaches per train if the train becomes overcrowded at any point in time. This can't be done in the metro as the elevated station platforms are not long enough to handle 9 coach trains. Additionally, suburban railway trains have fewer stoppages along the route and have more space for seating. Many reports like the Comprehensive Traffic and Transportation Study for Bengaluru Metropolitan Region 2018 also suggest developing extensive mass transit corridors within the city and extending the suburban railway to the city's suburbs like Tumkur, Hosur, etc. Now, although the suburban railway is better to connect Bengaluru to the suburbs, why is the metro being proposed? One reason could be that metro connectivity can spur industrial growth and boost real estate values, making it attractive for leaders to support metro extensions in regions they represent. As a result, we can see these proposals to extend the metro well beyond city limits. Ideally, decisions on metro planning should be guided by long-term mobility goals and expert recommendations rather than short-term political priorities. E. Sridharan, who is known as the Metro Man of India, has consistently advocated for minimizing political influence in infrastructure projects. During his tenure as the Managing Director of Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, his track record of completing projects on time and within budget earned him immense credibility. This reputation made political interference less likely as any obstruction could be seen as hindering progress. This approach helped Delhi Metro grow to 394 kilometers and 12 lines in only 22 years. Thus, on average, every year 17.9 kilometers of new lines were added to Delhi Metro's network. Let's compare this to Namma Metro. Despite being open for 13 years, Namma Metro only has a 77 kilometer network across 2 lines. This means that only 5.9 kilometers of metro has been added every year to Namma Metro's network. Even when all the 3 under construction lines are opened by 2027, this figure will rise to 11 kilometers added every year. While it's true that Bengaluru faced unique challenges like complex tunneling in phase 1, this contrast still highlights the difference that focused leadership and streamlined decision making can make in metro development. Although the proposals to extend the metro to the suburbs may reflect political preferences, they often come with a short-term vision. But a city like Bengaluru needs long-term, well-thought-out planning when it comes to metro development, and that's exactly why the Comprehensive Mobility Plan was created. The Comprehensive Mobility Plan, or CMP, is a strategic planning document prepared by experts to guide the development of transport in Bengaluru in the coming decades. It identifies metro and suburban railway corridors that need immediate attention, ranks them based on demand, and provides a strategy and investment program to meet the vision. According to the Metro Rail Policy 2017, a comprehensive mobility plan is a mandatory prerequisite for planning metro rail in any city. For Bengaluru, the plan was made in 2020. It aims to increase the share of public transport in Bengaluru to 60% by 2031 and to 70% beyond that. For achieving this goal, developing more public transport is essential. The Comprehensive Mobility Plan recommends having more than 300 kilometers of metro routes throughout Bengaluru by 2031. Out of this, 76 kilometers is already operational in the form of the purple and green lines. The 19 kilometer yellow line, 21 kilometer pink line and 58 kilometer blue line are all under construction and will open by 2027. The 32 kilometer ORR West line and the 12 kilometer Magadhi Road line have been approved by the central government, and the 36 km Sarjapura Hebbal line has been approved by the state government. All of this totals 254 kilometers, and we can say that work has at least been initiated on these lines. But what about the remaining lines? Those comprehensive mobility plan recommended corridors that still await any ground level progress include a 16 km elevated line from Domlur to Whitefield, a 20 km elevated line from Kattamanallur Gate to Domasandra Circle on Sarjapura Road, and a 34 km underground inner ring metro line between Yeshwantpur and Mahalakshmi. If these lines are to be completed by 2031 or even by 2035, work must be started to prepare a detailed project report for these lines. These lines will be highly beneficial as they will provide metro connectivity to Old Airport Road, core city areas, and State Highway 35 on the east. Despite clear expert recommendations and this roadmap laid out in the Comprehensive Mobility Plan, there has been no action on these routes that could truly transform mobility in Bengaluru and help Namma Metro to become the city's lifeline, just as Delhi Metro has achieved. Instead of prioritizing these high-demand routes, decision makers seem more focused on extending metro to far-off city suburbs and investing in expensive road infrastructure within the city, like double-decker flyovers and tunnel roads driven by short-term objectives. And that brings us to the next issue. In recent months, there has been a strong push for developing large-scale road infrastructure projects in Bengaluru, including double-decker flyovers, tunnel roads, and elevated roads. While upgrading road infrastructure to ease congestion at key bottlenecks is important, these proposals raise several concerns. They are not only very costly but also time-consuming to execute. Now you may be wondering why I am talking about road projects in a metro video. It is because these road projects have ended up delaying metro construction as well. Let's take a closer look at this. We have already seen the 3.2 km Ragegudda to Central Silbod double-decker flyover built along with the Yellow Line viaduct. This stretch has somewhat eased congestion at the Silbod junction and benefited those travelling towards HSR layout and Hosu Road by helping them bypass the signal below. Overall, the project has had a positive impact. In fact, even the Comprehensive Mobility Plan recommends considering integrated road cum metro infrastructure where necessary, as it can be more efficient and cost effective. However, encouraged by the success of this one flyover, the government now plans to construct double-decker flyovers along the entire stretch of new metro corridors. Both the lines of Namma Metro's Phase 3, which include the ORR West line from JP Nagar 4th Phase to Kempapura and the Magadi Road line from Hoskote to Thaverekere, are being reworked to incorporate end-to-end double-decker flyovers, but several experts have raised concerns about this approach. Firstly, costs are expected to rise significantly. In Phase 3, land acquisition for these flyovers is projected to increase costs by around 9,000 crore rupees. Secondly, this redesigned plan has already caused delays, even when no groundwork has been started. Civil work tenders for these lines were supposed to be floated around 2 months after approval from the central government. However, it's been over 9 months since approval and no tenders have been issued due to these design changes. Thirdly, and most importantly, if the double-decker flyovers are made, it may promote the use of personal vehicles over public transport. This could discourage people from using the metro, which will directly affect the metro's ridership and internal rate of return. Another point to note is that the double-decker flyover plan is still just a proposal. BMRCL has only been promised that the state government will fund the project, but there is no written communication. Also, the proposal is yet to receive approval from the state cabinet. This information is according to a money control article. In fact, according to the same article, BMRCL is still waiting to receive funds from the Bengaluru Development Authority or BDA for the already completed Ragiguda Central Silboard double-decker flyover. If just an announcement for the double-decker flyovers has delayed metro work so much, it raises serious concerns about how much further construction will be delayed once full-scale double-decker flyover implementation begins across all 44 kilometers of Phase 3. But the double-decker flyover isn't the only road project raising concerns. Another major plan, the Tunnel Road project, also risks diverting funds and focus away from much-needed metro development. Recently, there has been a push for this Tunnel Road project. While the plan aims to provide seamless transport solutions and mobility, it has drawn criticism from experts. The Tunnel Road project involves 2 tunnel corridors, an 18-kilometer tunnel between Hebbal and Silboard, which is being prioritized, and a 28-kilometer tunnel between Kiarpura and Nayandahalli. Let's focus on the Silboard to Hebbal tunnel for now. The Silboard to Hebbal tunnel is estimated to cost 15,000 crore rupees and it is projected to be completed over 5 years. Experts caution that actual costs may escalate further due to construction delays, a common issue with large infrastructure projects. In addition to its high cost, the tunnel road already presents other challenges like limited entry-exit points, significant environmental impact, and excessively high toll rates of 16 rupees per kilometer for cars, which could limit its usage. Moreover, the tunnel would largely duplicate the alignment of Namma Metro's upcoming Sarjapur-Hebbal line, which will run along a similar corridor. In this section, while the tunnel road would offer just 3 entry-exit points, the metro will provide 10 stations, making it a more practical and accessible option for commuters. As a result, many view the tunnel road as a potentially redundant project. Instead of investing in such car-centric projects, experts have highlighted the need to prioritize more impactful public transport solutions, such as the proposed Inner Ring Road Metro, recommended by the Comprehensive Mobility Plan and supported by a 2023 study by the Indian Institute of Science or IISc. The Inner Ring Metro could increase Namma Metro's ridership by 77%, reduce vehicular emissions, and significantly ease congestion in the core city. Projects like these align with the city's long-term vision, unlike the tunnel roads, which may encourage private vehicle use and contribute to traffic and pollution over time. Unfortunately, such a promising metro line is being delayed due to a greater priority on expensive road infrastructure projects. But road infrastructure projects aren't the only reason for delays. Even where metro lines have been approved, unresolved land issues are now threatening to stall progress. A prime example of this is the ongoing land dispute at Hebbal, an issue that could delay not just 1 or 2, but 3 of Namma Metro's highly important corridors. A single unresolved land dispute at Hebbal has become a significant bottleneck in Namma Metro's expansion. It threatens to delay 3 major Namma Metro corridors. the Silbor to Airport Blue Line, the JP Nagar 4th Phase to Kempapura Orange Line, and the Sarjapura to Hebbal Red Line. All these lines converge within a 500-meter radius at Hebbal, making it a crucial interchange point. In addition to the stations, BMRCL has planned a metro depot and parking facilities here, making land acquisition essential for multimodal integration and smooth operations. However, the 45-acre land parcel identified by BMRCL has a long and complex ownership history. Originally part of a 55-acre tract allotted to Lakeview Tourism Corporation in 2004, the land was never compensated for by the private entity over the last 20 years. Currently, Karnataka Industrial Areas Development Board, or the KIADB, holds ownership of the land, while several original landowners continue to seek pending compensation. During the previous administration, BMRCL had taken possession of around 1.65 acres at Hebbal for the viaduct station work on the Blue Line, offering 12.10 crore rupees per acre. But the transfer of the remaining 45 acres has been stalled under the current government. This is because although the previous agreement had lapsed in March 2023, it was extended by 3 more years despite previous landowners not being compensated. Now additional layers of complication have emerged. A few real estate developers wish to revive this old tourism project plan and build a commercial complex on the land with hotels, malls and apartments. At the same time, a portion of this land is also required for the tunnel road project. Now, the 45 acres must support 3 projects: metro, tunnel road and a commercial complex, complicating any quick resolution. 3 high-level meetings have already happened in the past 8 months to resolve this issue, with the most recent meeting in May. However, the deadlock remains. In fact, in the May meeting, BMRCL has been asked to scale down its land request from 45 acres to just 10 acres. This has drawn criticism from several members of parliament and many industry leaders who argue that BMRCL should get the entire land for seamless integration, improved capacity and long-term efficiency. This uncertainty over the land at Hebbal risks derailing the timelines of 3 crucial metro corridors that could significantly improve connectivity across Bengaluru. With overlapping interests from various agencies and private developers and no clear resolution in sight, the single piece of land has become a huge bottleneck. But land disputes aren't the only obstacle. Even on metro lines where construction is complete or nearing completion, another issue is holding things back: a shortage of trains. Namma Metro is struggling to keep up with Bengaluru's growing demand for public transport. On some routes, coaches are packed beyond capacity. On others, fully built stations lie idle, waiting for trains that haven't arrived. This shortage of rolling stock has become a serious challenge, affecting both daily operations and the timely launch of new lines. The root of this problem lies in a single rolling stock contract. Back in December 2019, with Phase 2 construction underway, BMRCL awarded a contract for 216 metro coaches to China's CRRC Nanjing Fusen Corporation Limited. These trains were meant for the extended green and purple lines as well as the new yellow line. The contract required that 75% of the coaches be manufactured locally, in line with the Make in India initiative. But even before BMRCL awarded this contract, there were already signs of concern. In Nagpur, CRRC had previously won a contract to supply metro coaches under a 100% local manufacturing requirement. However, none of the coaches were built in India. All coaches were manufactured in China, violating the local sourcing clause. Despite this major non-compliance, no significant penalties were enforced and CRRC was still considered for subsequent metro projects in India, including Bengaluru. Now for Bengaluru, CRRC initially proposed to build a manufacturing facility in Sri City, Andhra Pradesh. However, by August 2021, construction had halted due to the CRRC's failure to obtain necessary approvals. With no coaches delivered and no local production set up in place, BMRCL issued a termination notice in December 2021. Following this, the matter escalated to legal proceedings. After intervention by the Karnataka High Court, CRRC was granted one final opportunity to fulfill the local manufacturing requirement. This led to a partnership in May 2022 with Titagar Rail Systems Limited, which agreed to manufacture 204 out of the 216 coaches at its Uttarpara facility in West Bengal. However, there were further delays. Much of the critical equipment had to be imported from China and required Chinese personnel for installation and commissioning. Due to visa issues, these engineers could not travel to India, causing further delays. Visas were finally granted in December 2023, and the outfitting of trains at Titagarh's facility only began in May 2024, nearly 4.5 years after the contract was signed. Now, while progress is finally underway, the long delay has already caused serious setbacks to Namma Metro's daily operations and future expansion. The Yellow Line has been ready for operation for over 2 years, but has remained non-operational due to a shortage of trains. Currently, BMRCL has 3 6-coach train sets which are just enough to start service. The first prototype train arrived from China in February 2024, followed by the first locally manufactured train from Titagarh in January 2025, and the second Titagarh train on 13th May 2025. Based on ongoing train tests and the final inspection by the Commissioner of Metro Railway Safety, operations are expected to begin next month in June. However, the Yellow Line will initially open only partially, with trains stopping at just 5 to 6 stations and running at intervals of 20 to 25 minutes. Originally scheduled to open in 2021, the significant delay highlights the severe impact of the rolling stock shortage. With the Yellow Line finally nearing launch despite limited trains, the shortage of rolling stock continues to severely affect even the existing operational lines, causing overcrowding. As per the CRRC contract, 126 out of the 216 coaches, equivalent to 21 out of 36 trains, were designated for the expanding purple and green lines. Currently, BMRCL operates only 57 trains across its 77-kilometer network, which is well below the ideal benchmark of 1 train per kilometer. This shortage has made overcrowding during peak hours a daily reality on Namma Metro. Once all 21 pending trains are delivered, BMRCL will have 78 trains for 77 kilometers, reaching the ideal ratio and greatly easing congestion. However, this is still several years away. For now, to manage the crowds, BMRCL runs short loop services between Majestic and Whitefield, Majestic and ITPL, and Majestic and Devanahalli. These short loop services do provide limited relief but cannot fully ease peak hour congestion. Unfortunately, with no additional trains available, this remains BMRCL's only option. This ongoing shortage of trains continues to impact daily operations on the existing lines. Beyond operational challenges, Namma Metro also faces serious concerns around transparency, accountability, and leadership, issues that directly impact public trust and safety. Despite being one of the most important infrastructure projects in Bengaluru, Namma Metro continues to face serious challenges related to transparency, accountability, and leadership. Delays are frequent, but clear public communication is often lacking, making it harder for citizens to understand what's going wrong and why. Let's begin with transparency. On 9th February 2025, BMRCL revised its fare structure, making Namma Metro the costliest metro system in India. Given that fare hikes directly affect lakhs of commuters, it was expected that the report prepared by the Fare Fixation Committee, which recommended the hike, would be made public. However, as of 22nd May, this report remains unpublished. It was also previously denied under the Right to Information Act, even after parliamentarians formally requested its release, that too 2 times. BMRCL's Managing Director M. Maheshwar Rao stated on 8th May that the report would be shared soon. Over 2 weeks later, it has not been made public. This lack of transparency is not limited to fares. A glance at BMRCL's newsletter shows irregular updates. For example, the most recent newsletter on their website as of 22nd May is from February 2025, containing data only till 31st January. Earlier, the September, October, November 2024 newsletter was released only in November, meaning commuters had no access to updates from September or October until then. In contrast, other metro systems like Delhi Metro regularly publish updates and provide public access to Fare Fixation Committee reports. Now let's talk about accountability. In January 2023, a tragic incident occurred when a pillar under construction on the Blue Line collapsed and fell on a motorcycle, claiming the lives of a woman and her young child. More recently, in April 2025, a metro girder slipped off a trailer and killed an auto rickshaw driver, reportedly due to reckless driving and a lack of proper safety precautions in securing the girder. While monetary compensation was provided to the affected families, these incidents raised serious concerns about construction safety and oversight. In the girder case, no individuals have been publicly held accountable. In the pillar collapse case, 4 BMRCL officials and 6 contractor representatives were booked, but all were later released on bail. While compensation is important for victims' families, accountability is what helps prevent similar tragedies in the future. Ensuring that safety protocols are followed and that failures are addressed with consequences is essential for restoring public trust. Finally, questions have also been raised about leadership. In April 2025, the state government assigned BMRCL's Managing Director M. Maheshwar Rao an additional role as Chief Commissioner of the BBMP or Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike. This move has sparked criticism from citizens and experts. Both roles are demanding and require full-time focus, one involving the city's civic governance and the other overseeing a technically complex and a large-scale infrastructure project that is critical to Bengaluru's urban mobility. Concerns have been raised that such dual responsibilities could dilute coordination, reduce accountability, and ultimately affect the pace and quality of urban development in Bengaluru. Namma Metro is one of Bengaluru's most ambitious public transport projects, but ambition alone is not enough. Without transparency in decision making, accountability for safety lapses, and consistent leadership, even the most well-funded projects can get stalled. These systemic gaps not only slow down progress but also erode public trust. Addressing them is crucial if BMRCL wants to truly serve the city and its people. Bengaluru's metro journey has been marked by delays and missed opportunities, not because of a lack of potential, but due to deeper structural issues in planning, transparency, and leadership. If these challenges are not addressed now, they'll only grow as the city does. But the situation isn't irreversible. With greater accountability, public pressure, and stronger leadership, Namma Metro can still fulfill its promise of becoming Bengaluru's lifeline, just like Delhi Metro did. If you found this analysis valuable, please like the video and share it to help spread awareness. You can also subscribe to the channel for more detailed reports like this. I'd also like to hear your perspective. What do you think are the biggest hurdles in Namma Metro's progress? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.